What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. And you see the title, right? And the title is How LeBron James Could Go Broke After 23 Years in the NBA. Right now, when I say broke, I don't mean like like regular people broke, but I do think that LeBron James, throughout his career, and the way he has managed his career, and the way his partners have helped him manage his career, they left so much money on the table. Like there was LeBron James said at one point in time he wanted to be the first player, the first active player to be a billionaire, and he has achieved that, right? So that's cool. But when you are in a position where you can be an iconic type athlete, an iconic type um entertainer. Most of the time those guys make their money on the back end, right? And if, for instance, take Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan, for the most of his career, like he was never the highest paid player in the NBA. The last 2 years, I think the last year he got like in between like 30 and 35 million those last two contracts, right? And so why did it work out that way for Michael Jordan? Um, because Michael Jordan was so busy on the court just building his legend, his legacy, that money right then and there, like he understood, and the people that was helping him manage things understood that money was going to come down the line. Now when you think about LeBron James and this player empowerment era, it was all about like getting your money up front. That was the focus. Get your money, get it now, get your money, right? And so I think, and it's been proven that as an athlete, this kind of athlete on the level that LeBron James was, if he had taken the approach to just go ahead and dedicate and put everything into the game, like dedicate himself to the game, like Kobe. Like Kobe was a fanatic about the basketball game, right? And that grew Kobe's fan base. Not only did it grow his fan base, but it got to the point where like you had that type of connection to people, that type of admiration people had for you. It puts you almost like in an iconic type level, right? So you have that fan base, and now that fan base will go with you for the rest of your life. For instance, take somebody like Michael Jackson. Like Michael Jackson fan base, like Michael Jackson would Michael Jackson would never be broke, right? Because Michael Jackson was an icon as far as entertainment, right? So anytime people might say, well, Michael Jackson is running out of money, or he's gone into debt. All he had to do is do a concert, and that his fan base, he could tap into that fan base. Whereas though LeBron James moving around from team to team, his fan base is fractured, right? And so no fan base really feels that connection to LeBron James, because LeBron James never stayed with one particular fan base and just really developed that fan base, and just really just grew that fan base, or made them feel like he was one of them. There's not that connection there with the fan base. And just think about it. Even now that LeBron James is playing, when Michael Jordan was playing, like the most money he was making was coming from sponsors. LeBron James is playing like the bulk of his money is coming from teams. He's getting money, his big his big paydays are coming from Nike, and probably like in the team that he played for, right? Because the Lakers right now going out is offering him, or well, he wanted 50 something $1 million, and that's a big payday. $50 million is a big payday. He was getting all his money up front. Whereas though I think they did it backwards. I think that LeBron James should have, I mean, he just should have dove all into basketball, took that opportunity that was given to him as far as, trying to become a basketball icon. Um, the people around him should have known to or should have helped him to build his image, to grow his brand. But they didn't do that. They just, he was just taking like the money as it came, the different offers and the different opportunities as they came. But once he step away from the game, he won't have that fan base to tap into, and so that is where he's going to realize that he left so much money on the table. Michael Jordan still makes money. He still can do sponsorships. Um, he can tap into that fan base anytime he really need to. And as an athlete and as an entertainer, that's where your wealth is. Your wealth is in your fan base. It even that even gives you leverage when you go to do business deals with other people, because other business people know that, like, when LeBron James or Michael Jordan walk into the room, they bring millions and millions of other people, like fans, with them. And I keep using Michael Jackson as an example. If you are a promoter, you promote concerts, and then Michael Jackson walks into your office and say, "I want to do a concert." Automatically, like you're not going to be you're going to be in the black automatically. You're not going to be in the red. You're going to be in the black, just because of the size of the fan base and the reach that that Michael Jackson has. Same thing with Michael Jordan. Same thing with like Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady is, I mean, like, his fan base is just so crazy about him that he'll always be able to tap into that. And this is what happens when you have players moving around from team to team and not really gaining that connection with a fan base. Like, you could any of the players, Dominique Wilkins, bulk his career in Atlanta. Isaiah Thomas, his career was in with Detroit. Pat Ewing, always connected to New York. But this past generation, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, James Harden, they made good money while they were playing, but they're gonna find out on the back end that if you have a fractured fan base, then that gives you less leverage with potential business partners, and there's less money to be made because there's not that type of passion about you, because, like, you don't really mean anything. The fan don't feel like they mean anything special to these players because these players play all over the place. It's like having two girlfriends or two or three girlfriends, right? Like, you can't make all of these women feel special because you have other women that you trying to tend to. So it's almost the same thing like that, right? And so that's why I think that, if LeBron James right now is worth, like, say for instance, $1.5 billion. I heard like 1.4, but just say he worth 1.5. Had these people help LeBron James manage his career right, I think right now LeBron James would be worth probably like about $3 billion. Then on top of that, he will have a fan base that he will always be able to to tap into. But the fan base now, like I said, is fractured. You got some people in Miami dig him, some people in Cleveland dig him. Then you got some people in I don't know about LA, man. LA, them LA fans is pissed, right? But it's a fractured fan base, and neither one of the fan bases really feel that connection to him. They don't feel special. Michael Jordan fans feel special because of the iconic moments that he provided for them, and I mean, even if you just watch Michael Jordan on TV, like, people just they buying his sneakers, his merchandise, you know, but LeBron James just left so much money on the table, man. And like I said, once he step away from basketball and those big paydays leave, he's really going to feel it. And just think about the other outside business venture that LeBron James have, right? He do have some investments and some outside business ventures, right? But again, those ventures and investments are connected to the fact that he's a current NBA player, right? And so if you don't, you know what I mean? If you can't bring that fan base and then help them grow whatever outside business you have, once you step away from the league and that's all your leverage, then there goes your power. There goes your power. And I hope that LeBron James is not really like he's not investing his own money in these business ventures, right? Because if he is, he's gonna lose a lot of money, and that's going to cause financial issues, right? If he invests in his money in these business ventures, that's going to cause issues. I think the fact that like I said, the fan base and that people don't get it. That was the most important part of like when you talk about the contest, or not really the beef, but the back and forth between Michael Jordan and LeBron James, like who's the GOAT and who's the greatest. The whole thing, like if I'm Michael Jordan, I don't even care about the GOAT contest as long as like the fans love me more than the fans love you. That's where the money is. That's where the money is. That's where the leverage is. Everybody's going with Michael Jordan. Nike, like it don't do Nike or the NBA any good to invest in LeBron James when he can't outperform Michael Jordan when it comes to their fan base. I mean, Mike is just so beloved, and Nike, the NBA, anybody who do business with Michael Jordan take advantage of that fact. But LeBron James, he did not endear himself to the fans, and so after he retired, it's just going to show. Fans wanted to see him. They wanted to see him leave it out all on the court. Like when Kobe Bryant, like his last game, he got interviewed, and the woman asked him, "Do he have any regrets for his career?" And he said, "No, because I feel like I left it all out on the court." And you couldn't find a fan that said, "No, no, that's not true." But with LeBron James, man, you got the flopping, you got the, from moving around from team to team, cherry picking, and there's so much they just mismanaged this guy's whole career, and he left so much money on the table, and it's going to become more apparent. And I really wanted to put this out there because sometimes people don't really they don't really see things until the mainstream media put that out there for you. Instead of thinking and try to analyze situations for yourself, people like to wait and have mainstream media do their thinking for them. But for people who can analyze for themselves and think situations through for themselves, and which I do get that from a lot of people in my comments. When I make these type of videos, they give their input, and it's obvious to me that they see some of the same things that I see. So I appreciate that. But that's my take on it, man. I think the next generations, I think that comes after LeBron James, I think they'll do things differently from LeBron James. They'll do things differently from James Harden and Kevin Durant, man. They just going to stay put, and they're going to be very aware of their public image and how to develop that, you know what I mean, and how to capitalize on their fan base and grow their fan base, because that's where your leverage is. And so in so many different ways, I really don't even have enough time on this podcast really to go through like how important your fan base is as an athlete and an entertainer. But that's my take. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.